Is this thing on? Well, welcome back to the Entertainment Headquarters build. Hope you enjoyed the shop upgrade videos I've been working on. It's nice to get the tools back on the wall again. If you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing for more content, and to follow along with this project and hopefully many more. Before we go on though, I have a question. If you would like to see me make more videos about anything in particular, preferably smaller projects, what would you like to see? More French cleat videos for different tools around the shop, or are you looking more like an end table or back scratchers, something small? I don't know. Leave a comment below to let me know what you would like to see me make, and maybe we'll get to it. Thanks. Alright, so as you can see, this is the general design I've come up with for the Entertainment Headquarters project. You got the bottom shelf already made. That's these two shelves right here in the last video. In this next video, I'm going to tackle making this shelf along with this shelf and the top shelf. It's kind of hard to see it all right here, so I've actually drawn up a more three-dimensional view. We have the third shelf, the soundbar shelf that's right underneath the top shelf, along with the backer piece. You got some side shelves on the side here that are going to have the DVDs and other video games stored in both sides of that. That's on today's agenda, is to build this section that'll go above what I made in the last video. I've got the backs of the side for the DVD shelves and the fronts of the sides for the DVD shelves. So if you set up something like this, these taller ones in the front and the shorter ones in the back, and these pieces I'm going to cut down to the 14 3/4 that'll span the gap between the back of them, and the DVDs will come in from both sides like this. Alright, so now these are the backers for the DVD side shelves, and they need to be 14 3/4 long, a total of 8 inches, so I need to find 8 usable inches between the two boards. This one's got a crack in it. I think the 8-inch mark right here, I'm going to cut off this crack through here. Alright, this looks like some of those bark inclusions came out nice and clean. This one's a little rough. It does come through on the other side, but I kind of like the look of it, the natural character. Not to mention this entire project is made out of scrap wood. So I like to show off that even though it has faults, it can still be a beautiful piece of furniture or woodworking. What I try to do on this channel is find the beauty in all the scrap. That, and well, I'm cheap, and pallet and crate wood is free, so I will take it and make the most of it. That's going to be 1/2 inch longer because it needs to have a back bevel on the bottom side for when it mounts on the shelf, so it'll kind of, you won't see the bottom lip of the shelf, you'll just see the side piece here and the open space below it. This piece is actually just a little short because I'm trying to use up all my offcuts from this project, and the same thing with that, just a little short. So we have the two side pieces for the third shelf more or less cut, and the shelf itself is already cut, so now it comes time to at least assemble the third shelf. And then we'll move on to the soundbar shelf, and then the top shelf after that. Alright, so in an attempt to wrap my head around some of the math that I'd need to make this, I made a Lego version of what I'm trying to do here. so that I could just make sure that all the planes intersected and coincided together, so that I could make sure that I got it done right. It appears as though I did, because that is what I'm going for. And so far, everything from the red down to the gray is what this is. So I just need to make the white shelf and the black and red shelf on top to make the entire upper shelf assembly. Here they are, both units. We have the 45-degree chamfer on the bottom edge of the front pieces that correspond with the 45-degree chamfer on both bottom lifts of the bottom shelf. And now to test to make sure that it all fits all together all right. Alright, so I made up a piece for both sides that I'm going to put on here off camera just to bring it up to the same height as the rest of this, because even though that doesn't really matter because it's not supporting a shelf, on the soundbar shelf there is going to be a side piece that extends all the way back to the back of the shelf, and if this isn't the same height, that piece is just going to be floating out in air. So I'm going to glue these on and cut them off here at the end just so there's support for the side piece for the soundbar shelf. And of course this is made out of the scrap offcuts from all the shelf material, which is not a whole lot right now, but I'm glad I'm holding on to it just so I could use it, because this is the actual thickness of the side piece here. I don't have to try and measure something else, fit something else exactly to this. I just have to cut it down to the right height. So that's a great reason for keeping your offcuts, just in case. Alright, so as you can see, the third shelf is completed for the most part. There's a little bit of shaving and sanding to be done on all the edges and the corners. But we're moving on to the sound bar. The shelf itself is already built. These pieces you saw me gluing together, they're going to be the inside pieces that connect along the back side of the soundbar shelf, just to keep the soundbar from falling too far back. But they'll be going in this orientation right here. And then on each side, another cutoff from the shelf unit. We'll be running in this direction as the edge for the shelf, just so you don't really see into it from the side, but it's keeping everything kind of in place, and also adding some support for the top shelf. So we'll move on to that next. There we go, the layout for the soundbar shelf. As you can see, this spans from the front to the back. Now the reason there's a little spacer here in the back on top of the little add-on we put is because eventually the bottom of this will be at the bottom of this, because we're going to bevel the side of the shelf and underneath on the back side of this, so that you don't really see this joint, that you'll see the bottom of this shelf come all the way to the front right here. So there it is with the backer pieces. The soundbar doesn't actually get pulled too far back. But before we do any of the beveling, this shelf needs to be ripped down to the depth of the soundbar, if just a little bit more, so that it actually sits right at the front of the entertainment center. Alright, so remember, this is what I was trying to build. And this is what I ended up with. This is actually exactly what I had in mind. Let me know down in the comments below if you like how it's turning out. I still need to attach it all, but that's going to be in another video, because before I do that I need to sand everything. So that'll be in the next video, along with assembly into the sides. So stick around for all of that.